Yesterday in the afternoon update, I talked about how we went into these overbought market conditions. There was another one over here, which you can't see on this gap up because this is a 30-minute chart. And by the end of a 30-minute chart, the FOMO disappeared. But overall, we had FOMO yesterday, again, a much higher level. And of course, whenever we get that, we tend to see the market have some type of pullback. And we had that yesterday, and we're starting to see that pull back a little bit. Well, let's take a quick look. Yesterday, last night, I updated with an evening update, and this was the chart that I shared, which is showing on the 3-minute chart over this is the same time frame over several days. We have these waves of FOMO where everyone piles in, and when people think they're missing out and they're jumping in, they don't care what price they pay. Usually that is a short-term sign. The savvy investors should already be long if they are long in that market based on their strategy. And then these peaks here are usually when everyone piles in and they just have that wave of FOMO. It's a kind of an emotional, it's just a big wave of emotion. People just can't control it. They have to get in. And of course, we sell off after that. We had that yesterday. I talked about this. This is the update saying, hey, we should expect some type of pause or pullback on the 30-minute chart. And the daily chart actually shows we have a cycle low. So when we look at the daily chart, this should be a major low starting to form for a bigger bounce. But we need to have this small pause or pull back a little bit first, I think, before we continue with the daily trend, the longer trend up. And so that is exactly what's happening. If we take a look here this morning, we've got, the SP 500 is trading down over 1%, NASDAQ down 1.4%, so is trading down around 5774. So it has pretty much made that move that I drew last night. So it already has had this pullback. It is set to gap lower. As we know, gaps tend to get filled, and the daily chart is pointing to higher pricing for some type of bounce, likely for a couple of days. So we're going to see a gap down at this point, unless the market rallies up before the opening bell. And then we could see this start to carve out a bit more of a base sideways move, choppy sideways, or start to move a little bit higher. So that's where we're at. When we look at this chart again, you can also see we had panic selling on our green indicator. That coincides usually with short-term pivot lows, and this is a significant one because it was at a very high level, way above the 3 level. And we had the VIX spike to like new multi-month highs. Plus we had the put-call ratio up over 1, and we pierced a pivot low that we talked about from January 13th that ran the stops, which caused